Did you know that math and astronomy have something to do with James Cook's first mission to New Zealand? Well, let's start with this orrery, or mechanical planetarium. It demonstrates the transit of Venus. Such transits occur in pairs 8 years apart, with an interval of over 100 years between the pairs. Back in the 18th century, Venus transits would occur in 1761 and 1769. Unfortunately, the observations in 1761 were unsuccessful due to poor weather conditions. Therefore, in 1768, the Royal Society, London's prestigious scientific organization, sent a letter to King George III of England. The letter urged the king to send astronomers to 3 observation points around the globe to watch the rare phenomenon of the planet Venus passing in front of the sun. Why was it that important? Now comes the maths and astronomy. Mathematician Edmund Halley proposed that an accurate measurement of the time it took for Venus to cross the sun would provide a measurement for the distance of Earth from the sun. It would help with navigation by accurately calculating the observer's longitude. Well, the committee recommended 3 observation points, 2 of them in the northern hemisphere and the third far away in the Pacific Ocean, Tahiti Island. In the end, the king and his advisors didn't need much convincing. They had their own secret interests in the Pacific, and they knew who would make the perfect captain for such an expedition. James Cook was an imposing man. He was respected as a quiet, determined and kindly captain in the British Royal Navy. No wonder they chose him to lead this top-secret expedition to the South Pacific. The secret instructions contained in an enclosed sealed packet were to discover the mysterious Great Southern Continent. His Majesty's ship Endeavour was built as a coal boat, and she was chosen to carry Captain Cook on his adventure because she was exceptionally strong and built with ample space for storing supplies. It was one of the 2 major factors that helped James succeed on this long voyage. The ship carried huge supplies of good quality food, including 10,000 pieces of meat, 1 ton of raisins, and 3 tons of pickled cabbage. Such a load of pickled cabbage had never been seen on a ship before, and the crew were not happy, but that vegetable saved their lives. On the other hand, the crew were more than happy with the supplies of 17 barrels of rum, 44 of brandy, and 250 of beer. In April of 1769, the expedition reached Tahiti, where they stayed until July. And on Friday, the 3rd of June, James and his crew observed the transit of Venus. The next day, James opened his secret instructions and began preparations to sail on southwards. 2 months later, a 12-year-old boy, Nicholas Young, who was a stowaway on the Endeavour, spotted the headland of Turanganui Akiwa, or Poverty Bay. It was the 7th of October, 1769. As James recorded in his ship's diary, since leaving Tahiti, they had traveled 6,296 kilometers, 4 times the length of New Zealand. Forewarned by Abel Tasman's story, James sought to engage peacefully with the people he met. Yet the first 2 encounters were fatal for at least 2 Maori. One of them was shot dead by a sailor as he performed a haka, and the other one was killed after he snatched up a short sword and ran down the beach waving it above his head. In the first case, it seems likely that the local people were undertaking a ceremonial challenge, but the Europeans believed themselves to be under attack. The other Maori was probably attempting to exchange weapons, but this was misunderstood. At that point, it was mainly the priest and interpreter called Tupaia whose services proved invaluable. He translated conversations between the Maori and Englishmen. In this way, he helped settle any problems between the Maori and James Cook's crew. In the end, it took the Endeavour 6 months to circumnavigate New Zealand. James carefully mapped the outline of the country at each step of the journey. Later on, James made 2 further trips to New Zealand in 1772 and 1776.